my friends, in this vast theater of existence, where souls rise and fall like waves upon an infinite sea, there is one force that has accompanied humanity since the dawn of our first breath, a force more mysterious than the stars and more enduring than time itself. That force is love. Not the shallow image of love we so often see reflected in the glittering illusions of the world, not the fleeting passion that burns and dies like a spark in the night, but the kind of love that carries the weight of eternity. True love, the rarest and most transformative of human experiences, is not a simple sentiment, nor a mere feeling that drifts through the heart like a passing breeze. True love is a movement of the soul, an encounter with a mystery that is both deeply human and profoundly divine. It is said that many chase after love, yet few ever pause to ask themselves what it truly means. They confuse desire with devotion, comfort with commitment, attachment with authenticity. And so, when their illusions collapse, they declare that love itself is fickle. But no, love is never fickle. It is our misunderstanding of it that causes pain. Love is eternal, love is whole, love is truth. The difficulty lies in recognizing its signs, for the world is full of shadows masquerading as light. To discern true love is to pierce through the veils, to open one's eyes not only to the heart of another, but also to the hidden depths of one's own soul. The first sign of true love lies in recognition. It is the strange, inexplicable sense that you have met not merely a person, but a reflection of something you have always carried within you. You may not know why, but the encounter feels familiar, as though a door long sealed has suddenly opened. Recognition does not mean you agree on everything, nor that your lives are mirror images. It means there is a resonance, a vibration that awakens dormant parts of your being. It is as if love whispers, "Here is one who carries a key to your inner world." This recognition is not of the mind, but of the soul, and when it stirs, you know it. It is the beginning of a journey that will lead you into the depths of who you are and who you might become. The second sign of true love is acceptance. In ordinary encounters, we polish ourselves. We present masks, we hide our imperfections as though the cracks in our being were shameful scars. But true love has the power to strip away disguise. In the presence of the beloved, you find yourself unafraid to be seen. The awkwardness, the vulnerability, the shadows you tried so long to conceal, they no longer feel like threats. Instead, you feel understood, not in spite of your flaws, but with them. Acceptance in true love is not blind. It does not refuse to see weakness. It sees weakness clearly and still chooses to stay. That is the miracle. That is the rarest treasure, to be fully seen and yet fully embraced. The third sign of true love is growth. Too often we imagine love as a shelter where we rest, a sanctuary where we are spared from the storms of life. But true love is not meant to keep us unchanged. It is meant to transform us. In the mirror of the beloved, we confront parts of ourselves we might never dare to face alone. Love challenges us, stretches us, calls us toward the highest version of our being. It is not always comfortable. In fact, it may often hurt, for growth always carries pain. But in true love, this pain is not destructive. It is the pain of rebirth, the breaking of old shells so the soul may expand. Love asks, will you dare to evolve, not only for yourself but for the one who walks beside you? When the answer is yes, love becomes the greatest teacher of life. The fourth sign of true love is freedom. This may seem paradoxical, for does not love bind two people together? Yes, but binding is not the same as imprisoning. In false love, there is jealousy, possession, a desperate attempt to control the other's movements, thoughts, and dreams. Such love suffocates until nothing but resentment remains. But in true love, there is no cage. To love truly is to rejoice in the freedom of the other, to see them not as property but as an entire universe unfolding. True love delights when the beloved flies, even if that flight carries them to horizons far from your own. For in such freedom lies trust, and without trust, love withers. The fifth sign of true love is presence. In the noisy chaos of the world, where so many voices compete for our attention, presence has become a rare gift. But in the gaze of the one you love truly, time seems to slow, and the world falls away. You feel not merely that they are with you, but that they are with you fully. No distraction, no mask, no pretense. Just the radiant simplicity of two souls meeting in the now. This presence is not measured in hours or days, but in the depth of connection. A single moment of true presence can carry more meaning than a lifetime of superficial companionship. The sixth sign of true love is sacrifice. Not the martyrdom of losing yourself entirely, but the willingness to give, to bend, to carry the weight of another's burdens when they cannot carry it themselves. Love demands more than words and gestures. It demands action. and sometimes it demands surrender. True love teaches that the self is not diminished in giving, but enlarged. To give without expectation, to endure hardship together, to place the well-being of the beloved above fleeting selfish desires. This is the sacred fire of love. Sacrifice in true love is not bitterness, it is joy, for the heart knows it is participating in something far greater than itself. The seventh sign of true love is forgiveness. For no human bond exists without error. No heart remains untouched by the clumsiness of words or the wounds of misunderstanding. Those who seek perfection in love will never find it, for perfection does not belong to this world. What matters is not the absence of mistakes, but the presence of forgiveness. To forgive is not to forget, nor to excuse harm, but to choose to see the soul behind the wound, to recognize that both you and the beloved are still on the path of becoming. Forgiveness keeps the heart soft, keeps the bond unbroken, and reminds us that love is not a transaction of flawless behavior, but a covenant of enduring compassion. The eighth sign of true love is endurance. In the intoxication of passion, it is easy to believe that love is eternal. But time has a way of testing all things. Trials come, distances stretch, seasons of darkness descend. Many loves wither under such weight, but true love has a strength that is not of the surface. It endures not because it is immune to difficulty, but because it draws upon a deeper root. Like a tree that withstands storms by sinking its roots into the hidden earth, true love endures because it is grounded in the eternal. It does not flee when the first winds rise, it holds, it weathers, it remains. And in remaining, it proves itself to be more than a feeling, it is a force. The ninth sign of true love is transcendence. For in its highest form, love is not merely about two individuals clinging to each other. It is a portal, an opening into the greater mystery of existence itself. In true love, you discover not only the beloved, but also yourself, and beyond yourself, something vast and ineffable. Love becomes a bridge to the divine, a reminder that in every embrace there is the echo of eternity. When you love truly, you are no longer two isolated beings wandering alone. You become participants in the great dance of life, woven into a fabric that stretches beyond birth and death. And so, my friends, these 9 signs of true love are not rules to memorize, nor a checklist to measure another against. They are lights along a path, guides for the soul as it seeks the most profound of human treasures. True love is recognition, acceptance, growth, freedom, presence, sacrifice, forgiveness, endurance, and transcendence. To know even one of these in its fullness is to be blessed. To know them all is to touch the eternal. But let us not deceive ourselves. True love is rare, and it requires courage. It is not for the faint of heart, for it demands that we strip away illusions, confront our shadows, and rise above the ego's selfish grasping. Yet for those who dare, the reward is beyond measure. For in love we do not merely find another person. We find the reflection of the divine within ourselves. Love is the mirror that shows us what we were always meant to be. So if you have found such love, cherish it with every breath. And if you are still seeking, do not despair. For love is not hunted down like prey. It arrives when the soul is ready, when the heart has been prepared through patience, pain, and longing. Trust the journey, for love is never late. It comes at the appointed hour, and when it does, it changes everything. And yet, even with these signs burning as lanterns along the way, there is still the work of the heart, the constant unfolding that true love demands. For love is not a statue carved once and placed on a pedestal to admire forever. It is a living flame that must be tended, nourished, protected against the winds of time. Many discover the early sparks of love and imagine that the fire will sustain itself. But every fire, no matter how brilliant at the beginning, fades unless there is intention, unless there is care. True love is not kept alive by chance, but by the daily decision to honor it, to water its roots, to breathe life into it when the world threatens to suffocate its flame. And in this steady commitment lies one of the greatest lessons, that love is both gift and responsibility, both miracle and discipline. Those who enter love seeking only to be filled will soon find themselves empty, for love cannot exist as a one-sided hunger. It must be reciprocal, a dance of giving and receiving, a harmony of souls in motion. To love truly is not to demand, but to offer, not to consume, but to create. When two people come together in true love, they do not merely take from each other. They build together, shaping not only their bond, but the very world around them. Love becomes the foundation upon which families are raised, communities are strengthened, dreams are pursued. It is the hidden architecture of human life. Without it, civilizations collapse inwardly, no matter how tall their towers rise. With it, even the humblest home can become a palace of light. consider how love reveals itself not only in grand gestures but in the smallest of moments. The way one looks into another's eyes and listens, truly listens, as if no other voice in the world could matter more. The way one hand reaches for another instinctively in times of fear, offering reassurance that no storm will be weathered alone. The way silence between two hearts does not feel empty but full, as though the very air carries meaning. These simple moments, unnoticed by the world, are the jewels of love. They do not glitter for crowds, but they shine eternally in the private kingdom of two souls. True love teaches us patience. In a culture obsessed with immediacy, with results delivered at the push of a button, with pleasures consumed before they are even desired, love insists on its own rhythm. It cannot be rushed, it cannot be forced. It asks us to wait, to endure seasons of uncertainty, to walk through deserts without always knowing when the rain will come. And yet, those who learn to wait in love discover that the waiting itself is transformative. For while you wait, you learn trust. While you wait, you shed illusions. While you wait, your heart grows in capacity, preparing itself to receive what it could not have borne prematurely. Patience in love is not passive, it is the active choice to remain, to stand firm, to water the seed even when the soil seems barren. This patience gives love a depth that fleeting passions can never achieve. It is why, when love finally blossoms, it carries a sweetness that no hurried romance could ever taste. The fruit of patience is intimacy, the kind that cannot be bought, cannot be mimicked, cannot be fabricated. It can only be grown slowly, faithfully over time. And if patience is the soil in which love grows, then honesty is the air it breathes. For love suffocates in lies, no matter how gentle or well-intentioned those lies may seem. To love is to risk truth, even when truth is uncomfortable, even when it reveals shadows that would be easier to hide. The courage to speak truthfully, to be transparent not only in joy but in fear, in doubt, in weakness. This is the lifeblood of intimacy. For how can a heart be fully known if it is half hidden? How can two souls truly unite if one is cloaked in illusions? Honesty in love is not cruelty, for it is always tempered by compassion. But it is unflinching, because only in truth can love remain real. And yet, honesty is not only about words, it is about presence, about integrity of being. It is about aligning what one says with what one does, about showing up consistently in both light and darkness. It is about keeping promises, not merely to the beloved but to the love itself. To betray love is not always to betray a person. It is to betray the sacred force that binds two hearts together. But to be honest, to be steadfast, is to honor that force, to show reverence for the mystery of connection that has been entrusted to you. In this way, love becomes not only a bond between two, but also a path of self-discovery. For to love truly, you must confront your own depths. You cannot hide from yourself in the presence of love. It will reveal your shadows. It will awaken your forgotten dreams. It will strip away the layers you thought were permanent. This is why some fear love, why they run from it when it appears. For true love does not allow you to remain the same. It demands growth. It demands self-awareness. It demands courage. But those who embrace this inner work discover a freedom they never imagined. They realize that love was never meant to complete them, but to awaken them to their own wholeness. And when two awakened souls walk together, they create not only a relationship but a sanctuary, a space where both can rest, where both can flourish. This sanctuary is not built by accident. It is built intentionally, day by day, through kindness, through forgiveness, through laughter, through resilience. It is built when partners choose to see the best in one another, even when the worst is visible. It is built when anger does not destroy, but is transformed into understanding, when mistakes become lessons rather than weapons, when silence becomes comfort rather than distance. This sanctuary becomes a place where both know that no matter what the world brings, there will always be one place where they are safe, one place where they are seen, one place where they are loved without condition. But let us not confuse sanctuary with stagnation, for love is not meant to enclose us, but to open us. The sanctuary of love is not a prison with locked doors, it is a garden with open gates. In love, two souls encourage one another not only to grow together, but also to grow individually. They celebrate each other's victories, they nurture each other's dreams, they refuse to clip each other's wings. For they know that if love is to last, it must allow both to expand, both to evolve, both to journey toward the fullness of their potential. Love does not demand that we shrink to fit another's vision. It calls us to grow so that together we may create something far greater than either could alone. In this, we glimpse the spiritual essence of love, that it is not merely human but transcendent. It is not merely about two hearts finding comfort. It is about two souls awakening to the greater mystery that flows through them. Love is the reminder that we are not isolated beings wandering in emptiness, but threads woven into a vast tapestry, each connection a revelation of the whole. To love truly is to catch a glimpse of eternity, to see in the eyes of another the reflection of the infinite. It is to realize that in every embrace, in every act of tenderness, we are touching something that cannot die. Love is the eternal within the temporal, the divine hidden in human form. And so, the signs of true love are not only marks of what to look for in another, they are also invitations to become more ourselves. For we cannot demand recognition if we refuse to recognize. We cannot demand acceptance if we do not accept. We cannot demand freedom if we withhold it, nor presence if we are distracted, nor forgiveness if we cling to resentment. Love is not a list of what we are owed, but a call to embody what we seek. When we become recognition, when we become acceptance, when we become growth, freedom, presence, sacrifice, forgiveness, endurance, and transcendence, then love finds us because we have already prepared the dwelling place within. And when it finds us, when it truly finds us, the world is never the same. For love has the power not only to heal hearts but to heal generations. The love between two people ripples outward, shaping families, shaping children, shaping communities. It creates patterns of kindness, of compassion, of courage that echo through time long after the lovers themselves have returned to dust. True love is immortal not because the lovers live forever, but because the love they embody becomes part of the eternal story of humanity. This is why the search for love is not trivial, not frivolous, not merely romantic entertainment. It is one of the most sacred quests of human existence. To find love, to nurture it, to embody it, is to participate in the highest calling of the soul. It is to say yes to the mystery of life, to the challenge of growth, to the gift of connection. And though the path may be hard, though it may be marked with tears and loss and heartbreak, the destination is always worth it. For in the end, nothing we build, nothing we conquer, nothing we achieve will matter more than the love we gave and the love we received. Yet even with such depth, love continues to reveal itself in new layers, as though it were an ocean with no shore, an infinite horizon we can sail upon for a lifetime and never reach its end. Every season of love unfolds with its own character, its own trials, its own revelations. In the beginning there is the spark, the recognition that feels almost otherworldly, as though fate itself had conspired to bring two wandering souls together. But as time unfolds, love matures, and with maturity comes the real work of devotion. It is here that many falter, for they mistake the fading of passion for the fading of love itself. They believe that, because the lightning of infatuation no longer strikes, the storm has passed and nothing remains. But they fail to see that the calm after the storm is where the deepest rivers of love begin to flow. True love is not the thunder of early desire. It is the steady current that carves valleys over centuries. To live in true love is to understand that passion is only one flame among many, and that the fire must be fed with more than desire. It must be fed with respect, with tenderness, with laughter that carries through the years, with the patience to endure both silence and song. The eyes that once searched for beauty on the surface begin to see beauty in the depths, in the resilience of the beloved, in the courage they show when life is heavy, in the gentle way they forgive when forgiveness is not deserved. The beauty of love matures into something quieter, something less showy but infinitely more profound. It is not the beauty of fireworks, it is the beauty of stars, constant, ancient, silently illuminating the night. And if love is to be real, it must also withstand shadow, for no human soul is pure light. Each carries within it both radiance and darkness. The shadow is the hidden self, the fears, the insecurities, the buried wounds that whisper doubt into the heart. Many relationships collapse because one or both partners refuse to face their shadow, projecting blame outward instead of courageously looking inward. But true love is a mirror in which both light and shadow are revealed. It is not always easy to see ourselves reflected so clearly, to be confronted with our own limitations. But when both partners are willing to face these truths together, love becomes a crucible, refining them, purifying them, shaping them into beings more whole than they were before. This is why love requires courage. It is not merely about the sweetness of affection, but about the bravery to confront discomfort, to sit with pain, to endure the storms that inevitably arise. Courage in love is not grand heroism. It is the quiet choice to stay when leaving would be easier, to listen when shutting down would be more comfortable, to forgive when resentment feels safer. True love is not about never feeling fear. It is about choosing to move through fear together. And in that courage, trust deepens, intimacy strengthens, and the bond becomes unbreakable. Another layer of true love reveals itself in the sacredness of ordinary life. For while the mind dreams of extraordinary adventures, of dramatic declarations, of moments worthy of poetry and song, it is often in the ordinary that love proves itself most fully. To share a meal, to sit in silence while reading different books, to walk together under a grey sky, to fold laundry side by side, to share a glance across a crowded room that only the two understand. These are not moments the world will celebrate, but they are the moments where love truly resides. Ordinary life becomes extraordinary because love infuses it with meaning. Without love, the grandest achievements feel hollow. With love, the smallest gestures carry eternity within them. And when life tests love with trials, illness, loss, disappointment, distance, it is not the grand gestures that sustain it, but the quiet faithfulness of daily presence. The hand that remains steady when the body weakens, the voice that speaks comfort when the world falls silent, the embrace that says without words, "I will not leave you." These moments reveal the true strength of love, for they show that it is not bound by circumstance but transcends it. Love does not vanish when beauty fades, when youth slips away, when wealth or status crumble. Love remains because love was never about those things to begin with. It was about the soul, and the soul does not age, does not weaken, does not die. True love also teaches us gratitude. For when we are loved deeply, we realize that it is not something owed to us, not something we can demand by right, but a gift freely given. To wake each day and know that someone has chosen us, not because they must, but because they desire to, is a miracle we too easily forget. Gratitude keeps love alive by reminding us never to take the beloved for granted, never to assume that tomorrow will automatically look like today. Gratitude turns ordinary gestures into sacred ones, transforms daily presence into a treasure, and prevents the poison of complacency from creeping into the bond. And what of joy? For love is not only sacrifice and endurance, not only patience and forgiveness. It is also joy, the joy of companionship, the joy of shared laughter, the joy of discovering life together. The joy of knowing that no matter how heavy the burdens of the world become, there is someone with whom to share both the weight and the wonder. True love does not erase suffering, but it gives suffering meaning, it gives it context, it gives it a companion. And in that companionship, joy often rises even in the darkest seasons, a joy that comes not from circumstance but from connection. Yet for all its beauty, love is never fully captured by words. It escapes definition, slips through language, resists every attempt to confine it. And perhaps that is the point. For love is not meant to be dissected but lived. It is not meant to be reduced to theory but experienced in the rawness of existence. It is the great mystery that binds humanity together, the force that has inspired poets and prophets, artists and philosophers, saints and sinners alike. And though each tries to name it, to describe it, to grasp it, love always remains larger, deeper, more elusive than any description. But that is why we must keep speaking of it, keep pointing toward it, keep reminding one another of its signs. For even if we cannot capture it fully, we can awaken hearts to recognize it when it appears. And perhaps that is the truest task of all, not merely to seek love, but to prepare ourselves for it. To become the kind of person who can give it, who can receive it, who can nurture it. For love does not come to those who merely long for it passively. It comes to those who have readied their hearts, who have done the inner work of clearing away bitterness, of healing wounds, of cultivating compassion. To prepare for love is to cultivate patience, to practice forgiveness, to live with gratitude, to stand in truth, to walk in courage. When we become love in ourselves, we draw love into our lives as naturally as a flower draws the sun. And so the signs of true love are not only stars by which we recognize another. They are also stars by which we navigate our own becoming. They call us upward, inward, outward, reminding us that love is not a destination but a way of being, not a possession but a path. To walk this path is to live fully, to embrace the whole of what it means to be human, to participate in the eternal dance of souls that has been moving since the beginning of time. And if there is one truth that love whispers above all else, it is that we are never alone in this vast and mysterious universe. For to love truly is to touch something eternal, to discover that within the fragile, fleeting shell of our human lives burns a light that no darkness can extinguish. Love is the proof that our souls are real, that our existence carries meaning, that beyond the chaos and noise there is a force of harmony binding us together. It is the great alchemy that turns suffering into strength, wounds into wisdom, strangers into companions, and two beating hearts into one rhythm echoing across time. So let us dare to love, not half-heartedly, not timidly, not with walls erected against disappointment, but wholly, fiercely, with the courage to give ourselves without reservation. Let us love in a way that shakes us awake, in a way that transforms the ordinary into the sacred, in a way that leaves an imprint upon eternity itself. For in the end, all that will remain of us is the love we gave, the love we received, the love we became. Everything else will fade, but love endures, love remains, love carries us into the infinite. And so I tell you, seek not the shallow echo, but the true song, the song that awakens the deepest parts of your being, the song that will outlast the years. When you find it, cherish it, protect it, embody it. For there is no greater triumph, no greater purpose, no greater freedom, than to live a life anchored in true love.